Hey guys, I'm going to go over Voiceless Voice. This deck has actually been a lot of fun. There's a lot of combos you can do with it. There's a lot of things that basically just act as one card starters for the deck. I'm going to go over as much of it as I can. I'm not like a super pro with the deck or anything, but I did get to Diamond 3 with it. I had a very easy time getting to Diamond 3 with it. I think the hardest part was just getting out of the final rank of Plat, just because Plat sometimes is a lot to get out of. It's very weird. The deck diversity in that can sometimes cause issues. But let's get into it. I'm running one Veiler. Why am I running one Veiler? I had an extra space. I personally don't really think you need to run two Veiler. I prefer Imperm in this format anyway. And I feel like Veiler just isn't super duper useful right now. But it is a tuner. It is light, so it's not the worst hand trap you can run. If you have something you prefer, you can always run that instead. I do see a lot of people run, what is it? It's this one? Yeah, the Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. I do see a lot of people prefer to run that. Personally, I like Veiler, so we have Veiler. Um, 3 low. This is definitely the best card in the deck, in my opinion, because it enables like pretty much everything. If you ritual summon exactly one light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, that with a card that requires use of a monster or monsters, this card can be used as the entire tribute, and that's not once per turn, so you can basically just use that as many times as you need, and that's very useful. You can use each of the following effects of low pairs of the Voiceless Voice once per turn. So when it's normal or special summoned, you can take a Voiceless Voice, continue a spell or trap from your deck and put it face up in your spell and trap card zone, which that's also really great. And the second one is if a light ritual monster, warrior, or dragon is special summoned to your field while this card is in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. So it recurs itself. It can recur itself on your opponent's turn and get you the search on your opponent's turn to put something face up. It has a lot of utility. It's very good, and you're going to see that in the replays that I have for this. 3 max C, it just helps you see more cards and discourage your opponent from going off too hard if you play it. Um, 3 Diviner of Herald. I originally thought this card was so-so because of just dumping from the extra deck. It's like, yeah, you can dump Herald and you can get a ritual monster, a ritual spell, or yeah, you can dump Elder Entity and you can destroy something on the field. Those are good options, but the real value I feel in Herald is the fact that when you summon Herald, you can dump Trias, and Trias lets you tribute up to 3 fairy monsters special summon it. So you contribute Herald, and when you tribute Herald, when Herald's tributed, it lets you special summon a level 1 monster, a level 1 or one level 2 or lower fairy monster. Gosh, I can't read. Most Yu-Gi-Oh players can't anyway, so at least I know I'm in good company, right? One level 2 or lower fairy monster from your deck or hand except Divine Elf Herald. You can only use each effect once per turn. So being able to dump a fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, you have the utility to add either a ritual spell or a ritual monster, destroy a card, or send this, then tribute the Herald for this, and then use Herald effect engrave to summon low and go off with low. So far you're seeing a lot of one card enablers. This is going to become even more broken once we cover the continuous spells and traps that it can get you. 3 Ash. I feel like Ash is very necessary in the current meta. I feel like it does a lot of work. It's pretty much everything that's good. So definitely 3 Ash. 3 Saphira, Queen Dragon, and the Voiceless Voice. This card is pretty good. You can discard it from your hand. So send a ritual spell from your deck to the graveyard, and then add 1 light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, from your deck to the graveyard. So you can search Severius, you can search Skull Guardian. Both really good, but the kicker for this is you can banish this from your graveyard, ritual summon a light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceeds the level of the ritual monster. You can only use each effect of Saphira, Dragon Queen of the Voiceless Voice, once per turn. So this card is pretty good. A lot of the time, what I can do is I can discard it, send this, get this, then banish this from the graveyard. And if I've already used low, sometimes I use low to put this on board and then use this to add. I believe it lets you, yeah, adding Voiceless Voice card. Yeah, add this to hand and then just continuously go off. Because low can be the entire cost for the ritual summon. So you can basically just search this and then summon this and use low for the entire cost. I do wish it was 7 instead of 6. If it was 7, it would be even better because you could use it as the entire ritual cost for summoning, but we can't get everything we want out of this deck. Next, we have 1 Sarvarius Dragon Sage, the Voiceless Voice. This card's actually very good. I really think you only need 1 of it. You can special summon it from your hand by shuffling 2 spells from your hand or graveyard into the deck, including a ritual spell. So, in one of the replays, I'm pretty sure I got it, I actually shuffled back pre-prep and a ritual spell, and then drew the pre-prep next turn and used it again. Or sometimes pre-prep's not live because I don't have the ritual spell in the grave, so I shuffle back like pre-prep or one of the pots if I really need to search. Well, not search, but draw. And then I can activate the pre-prep. That'll be live in hand that previously wasn't live. So this card is pretty decent for that effect alone. The next effect you have is, of course, you can only special summon them once per turn that way, but when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card from the field to the hand, special summon a light ritual monster, warrior, or dragon from your hand or deck, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase of the next turn. You can only use this effect Sarvarius Dragon Sage, the Voiceless Voice, once per turn. That is awesome because it can get you the Ancient and Ascended to help block special summons. We'll go over him in a bit. Or it can get you the Skull Guardian. And the Skull Guardian is pretty darn good. Next we have Tiras or Trias, which we touched on previously. So during the main phase, if it's in your hand or graveyard, which is awesome because when you jump to the grave with Herald, you can use its effect. Tribute up to 3 fairy monsters, special summon this card, banish it when it leaves the field, then you can apply the following card effects in sequence, depending on the number of tributed monsters. If you tribute 2+, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. If you tribute 3+, you can draw 2 cards. So, very versatile card, very decent. The fact that it has to be banished kind of stinks, but it's not the worst. 1 Nibiru, it's light. If it's in your hand as a clog, you can just use it as a ritual cost. Sarvarius, the Ancient Ascended, we're running 2 of him. You can ritual summon it with Sprite's Blessing, but realistically, you're going to ritual summon it with Prayers, or you're going to summon it off the Sarvarius Dragon Sage. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, quick effect, you can discard this card and negate the activation. So it's also a decent hand trap. But the main effect, which is the one I've been using even more than the hand trap effect, is when your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, negate the special summon, and if you do, banish that monster or monsters. And now it's back in your hand, so not only did you put it back in there for you to maybe summon again, because none of this is once per turn. You could summon it back out and block another summon, because you can summon this during your opponent's turn. We'll go over that in a bit. But it's also in your hand live as a hand trap now. So very annoying card for your opponent to deal with. Also, it has very beefy defense, which is nice. Next we have Skull Guardian, Protector of the Voiceless Voice. You can ritual summon this card with Praise of the Voiceless Voice. You can also bring it out with that effect monster that we covered earlier. It gains 2,050 attack while you have low Prayers of the Voiceless Voice on your field or in your graveyard, so it goes up to 4,100, which is sick. You can only use each effect of the Skull Guardian Protector of the Voiceless Voice once per turn. They are hard once per turn. If it's ritual summon, you can add a Voiceless Voice monster or a Voiceless Voice monster or ritual monster, warrior or dragon, from your deck to your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control low Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Now, This first add effect is amazing because you can add low off of it, and if you haven't already summoned, you can then summon low, and you can use low effect to set up this card or get this card and then use this card to grab this card, and we'll go over that in a little. So there's just so many things you can do. This deck has like 7 one-card starters, pretty much. Next we have pre-prep. So add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, whose name is mentioned on that ritual spell. You can only activate 1 pre-prep of rights per turn. Very good. It's just insanely good. 1 pot of extravagance, 1 pot of prosperity, 1 prayers of the voice. Sorry, 2 prayers of the voiceless voice. You want to run 2. 2 is the magic number. 3 clogs. 1 is not enough. This card can be used to ritual summon any light ritual monster. You must tribute light monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster or low. If a face-up light ritual monster or monsters you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Cerberus, the Ancient and Ascended, Saphira, Queen of Dragons, or Skull Guardian, Protector of the Voiceless Voice from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use this effect if prayers of the Voiceless Voice once per turn. Next, we get to Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. I'm running 3 just for consistency. Once you get one on the field and it stays there, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But I am running 3 just for the sake of consistency. So while you control low prayers of the Voiceless Voice and a light ritual monster, your opponent's monsters can only target ritual monsters for attacks, and your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects. Very good effect right there. But what adds to it even more is during your main phase, you can add 1 Voiceless Voice card or 1 Skull Guardian ritual monster from your deck to your hand, except Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. You can only use this effect to bury the Voiceless Voice once per turn. But very good card. Next, we have Blessings of the Voiceless Voice. You can target 1 of your Voiceless Voice cards that's banished or in your graveyard, accept Blessing, and add it to your hand. I'm just running 1. I feel like you really don't need to. If a non-ritual monster is normal or special summon face up, except during the damage step, you can ritual summon 1 light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of that ritual monster, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Or you can just tribute low. You can also use each effect. You can only use each effect, Blessing of the Voiceless Voice, once per turn. So this lets you summon during your opponent's turn. Basically, it's decent. I still feel like you really only need 1. 2 Called by the Grave, 3 Imperm, and then 1 Radiance to the Voiceless Voice. You could swap Veiler out for a second of this card. This card is pretty decent, although most of the time I recycle it with Blessings. During the main phase, you can activate 1 of these effects. You can shuffle a light ritual monster, warrior, dragon, or ritual spell from your hand or graveyard into the deck, and if you do, add to your hand or special summon a Voiceless Voice monster from your deck. Very useful. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light ritual monsters, warrior, or dragon you control. Destroy both this card and as many of the targeted cards as possible. You can only use the effect of Radiance of the Voiceless Voice once per turn. So that ends our main deck. We're going to go into the extra. We got 1 Elderly Entity Nest for use with our Herald to pop problem cards in the back row. I've had to pop Macrocosmos with this a couple times. Well, not Macro, sorry, because I can't pop Macro itself. What did I pop with it? It was something annoying. Oh no, it was Jowgen. I popped Jowgen. That might be in the replays. 2 Herald of Arclight. This is basically here. I mean, you could make it if you really wanted to, but in most cases, this is here because you want to use the effect to get a ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand when you send enough Herald. 1 Baron, 1 Chaos Angel, 1 Superstar Slayer, T-Wyphon, Sky Crisis. This card's just a decent card. 1 Link Rebo, 1 Secure Gardna, 1 Relinquished Anima, 1 LP Mask, 2 Dynamondo, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Apollosa, 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So we're going to go over Dynamondo real quick because I don't think we've covered him since Novellas. It's two monsters, including a ritual monster. If he's special summoned, you can target one card in the field and one ritual monster in graveyard, and you shuffle both into the deck. Very useful. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you contribute this card, target a ritual monster in graveyard, add it to your hand, or special summon it. You can only use each effect to Dynamondo once per turn. Just decent all around. And we're also going to cover Super Star Slayer real quick, because I don't think we've ever covered him on the channel before. So he's two level 12 monsters, but you won't do that. You're going to summon him the other way, which is during the turn or turn after your opponent special summon two or more monsters from the extra deck. You can also XYZ summon this card by attributing one monster you control with the highest attack, your choice of tide. Transfer its materials to this card. If you do, you cannot normal special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, so you want to do him last. While this XYZ summoned monsters on the field, neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack. I did this to Blackwing. It was funny. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, return one monster from the field to hand. So, decent all around. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the replays. Here, let's do this one, because this looks like it was a spicy replay, because it was 19 turns. So they stopped the Herald, that's fine. I'm just gonna go off, do my thing. Bam. They're gonna max see me, and I'm gonna be like, oh, you motherfucker. But that's okay. They can get a card. Not a very good opening at all. Probably could have done better there, but I really don't want to take the maxi challenge. I see Shifter, I see Centurion, and I'm just like, oh great, this is going to be an uphill battle. So here comes Cent. They're just going to do Centurion things. I'm like, great. The first thing I want to do is just slam down low and be like, okay, I have my negate live. They're going to droll me, and drolling me really pisses me off, but if anything, it's just going to delay me. They're going to do their thing. I'm going to attack them for 50 with low because I felt like it. And so here my opponent comes doing stuff. I don't get the destruction effect, I think because of the field card. I think the field spell for them protects against destruction. Here goes Crimson Dragon, and this is going to be a whole can of worms for me to go around. Here's Supernova. Supernova actually can beat over my big beat stick, and at this point I'm thinking, crap, I really am screwed. I don't think there's anything I can do here. But we're going to cook. I get drolled again. And I'm just like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm so tired of your bullshit. They banish everything, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Here's low. Here's another low. Here's the effect of the other card. Still can't destroy him, so I wasted that. But I'm like, whatever. Go into Little Knight. Little Knight it away. Get rid of the back row effect. And now we just, well, we can't do anything because we can't attack when we do that. So, back to our opponent. We give up our negate, but we were just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Finally, we're in a slightly better place, but we get Little Knighted, and we're just like, okay, cool. I'm like, you want to banish it so I get to keep it? That's nice of you. Someone didn't read my cards. Oh yeah, the first thing I want to do is link that shit away, because I don't want to deal with that. There's like, I'm not dealing with that card. Goddess is your out to things that are bigger than 4,100 or that are just like things you can't get rid of. We can't beat over 3,000 attack currently. They have one engraved, so we're going to negate it. They still get to summon it, but there won't be any effects. This is why this took so long, because I couldn't get over 3k. There we go. Oh, never mind. How did I get over it then? Oh, pre-prep? Oh no, we just tribute. Lamau? Wow, we've negated that card a lot this game. I don't know why they did that. Oh, because they don't want me to attack it for game with the big one. There we go, finally. And we give him the disrespect with that Herald. Because we were pretty pissed that they just tried to sit on 3,000 defense the entire game. It's like, really? But Centurion is... Centurion... You know, I'm just gonna stop myself. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Centurion and the people who play it, but ugh. Quickly becoming one of those decks that I just absolutely hate. I don't even lose to it that much. I just really don't like it. See, we're doing the shenanigans with low. We're getting our homie. We have an Omni Negate. We have a pop. We have a ritual summon into the Durgi. And we get super polyed. I didn't try to use Snatch Steal, which I'm like, why are you even running that card? And I'm like, oh, it's Chimera? Yeah, I'm gonna stop that because I know what that does. And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this. And I'm like, I'm gonna destroy that so you don't get Chimera Fusion. And I'm gonna make this so if you try to special summon, I got answers. Yeah, at that point they know that their goose is cooked because I have a pretty decent board. And they're very low on resources. That deck can get resources back very quickly, though. I just don't feel like Chimera is good right now in this format. I feel like Chimera is not in the best place. It's like, oh, we need all the copies of Ash, apparently. But that's fine, we're doing stuff. And we're getting all of our stuff negated. That's okay, though. We still have low. We can play through a couple of things. Love it. We have built a board. I was like confused that Earthbound was happening and that we were seeing like Bone Archfiend and stuff. Yeah, at that point, my opponent's like, okay, I'm done. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck in like a nutshell. It just makes big negate boards, disruption boards. It's decent. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend you check it out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye bye.